Hey YouTube, it's Emma10 here, and this is a help and advice video on trading in the world of Yugioh. I'm just going to pass on my knowledge, my experience, my thoughts and everything on how to trade for cards and everything. So I do hope you find this helpful, and I do hope you guys enjoy. Okay, as you know, trading in the world of Yugioh is a big thing, but when you're young, and well, when I was young anyway, when I was slightly younger, I used to think, when you trade cards, it'd be like you agree on what the opponent wanted, you agree on what you wanted, and fair enough, there you go, you swap around the cards now, or you trade like a super for a super, a secret for a secret, or whatever. And that's how I used to think, but now that, but when you get older and you start to realise the price value of cards and everything, then obviously that becomes a lot more complicated. It was certainly a different shop for me, to tell you the truth, because I didn't realise cards went on value and everything. I mean, if I was to be honest, at Magic for Miniatures, I didn't really care about the price value or anything. If it was a card I wanted for the deck, or a deck or something, then I would give everything to trade for it. And I don't resort to buying cards off people unless I really have to. But thankfully that's never had to happen so far. I've always had something they wanted to trade for, or I've managed to get off one of my friends or anything like that as well. So yeah, I'm just going to give you like tips and thoughts and advice on trading and everything. So why don't we start? Of course, in any Yu-Gi-Oh game, or in any trading card game, it's always best to have a trade folder. Now, you can either have a very big one like I've got here. I feel more comfortable with a real big one, because it's the Legendary Collection folder. It looks pretty awesome. There's also like ones that are only half this size. There's even pocket variants where you can just keep all your big important cards and use them for trade later. Another thing which I think is quite cool to take with you, I hope you can see this clearly. Now, of course, there will be cards you trade for that you want to trade for something else for the folder, and there are trade cards you want to keep for yourself in the deck. If I'm keeping stuff for myself, I take this little container with me, so I know the cards that I need for my deck are safe in here, safe inside my bag. Or what other players might do, I can just show you very quickly, is they might decide to separate those cards and put them right at the back of the folder. Like this card, for example, is for my boyfriend Chris Anime Guy when he comes back to Scotland, hopefully. Just to remind you guys, no cards in this folder are for trade or sale over YouTube. I don't do that at all. Anyway, as you can see, I've got quite a few trades. Some are good, some are not so good, some are, in the middle and everything. But everybody's got different ways of doing it. I mean, some people have actually got their trade folders organised out, like the first couple of pages are monsters, the next couple of pages are spells and traps, fusions, exceeds, synchros, and bloody blah. And some players have right in the front 2 pages like the most important, really expensive cards. So I'm talking about things like Rescue Rabbit, Levier Dragon, tour guides, Blackluster Soldier, that sort of thing. Me, I just throw it in, and if you like it and you see it, then you can trade for it if we got it or whatever. Now, as I said before, I used to trade on just what the card was. Like, if it was a super and the opponent had a card that was a super, then I thought that was a good trade-off. But now price values come into it, and I can understand the price value and everything. But it makes trades a little bit more complicated. For example, I can find a card that I know the value of, if you give me a second. Sorry everybody, should be better organised than this really. Right, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm just going to give like a rough example, so don't scream at me if I get this wrong. I'm just giving, as I said, I'm just giving a very rough example of this. Right, where is it? Ah, there we go, gold sarcophagus. Right, now if I remember correctly, the super version of a gold rare sarcophagus is roughly, say, just for as an example, say it's worth about £20 roughly if you check via eBay or Cool Kingdom or a site that sells cards, right? Roughly worth £20. If you want that card out of somebody else's thing, you have to sort of give cards that either equal its value or cost a little bit more. For example, say somebody wanted my gold sarcophagus, I know it's worth about £20. they could probably trade, say, from the top of my head, a Clacameo Draco, for example. A Clacameo Draco is worth about, what, £10–15 or so, I think, roughly. As I said, this is just an example. Since that only makes about £15, I would let a £5 slide off. I wouldn't mind that. But some people would want another card thrown in just to make up the deal. So they might say they want to throw in another, say, another wee secret card that's worth about £5 to make up the value of Gold Sarcophagus. So that way you're getting 2 cards for the price of 1, which is okay, not too bad. You know, there's some people who trade like that, and that's no problem at all. Of course, there's still some people who will trade like a secret for a secret, that sort of thing. And I have got some cards that are quite desirable by a few players. For example, Executor Hornet, I could probably get 2 or 3 cards if I'm lucky for that, depending. But normally, most cards are just 1 for 1. Mostly. Sometimes, you know, if I trade for a card that's really expensive, I give as many cards as possible to make the value, so the other person doesn't feel cheated or doubtful or anything about the trade. Now, one thing I want to make very perfectly clear: if you are trading, if you're in the middle of a trade and you have any slightest element of doubt in your mind about the trade, don't trade at all. I know that's going to sound a bit silly, but if you have even the slightest element of doubt during any time when you're trading, then just don't trade at all, because if you make a mistake with trading, you've lost a very valuable card that you could have used to trade for something else, and it can be a pain in the neck. Now, when I used to trade like super for supers or rarities for rarities, I have a feeling I actually got cheated out of some cards, in honest truth. In some cases, but of course I was young. I didn't know the real value in that back then. So, you know, I learned the hard way, really. So now I try to make sure I know what it is, exactly what I want, and I know what it is I'm getting. And if the opponent says no, definitely no, then obviously you have to take that as no. You can't force them into something they don't want to do. You can't be forced into something you don't want to do. So any element of doubt throughout the trade at all, don't trade at all. Simple as that. Another good bit of advice I've heard about, and which I practice and everything, is if you are trading, do it with one person at a time, never in a group or something, because there's been too many stories circling around the Yu-Gi-Oh community where somebody has traded with a group and ended up with either their folder stolen, or some of their cards stolen, or even some of that group have gone into another person's belongings and taken stuff out of there that way. It's quite sad to hear about that, but unfortunately there are thieves in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! And another good bit of advice is, if you're trading, make sure you've got a friend or somebody near you or can see that you are trading, so that way if something happens to go wrong, you've got backup just in case, and you've got witnesses and everything as well. But thankfully, as I said, most traders are honest. Most traders are honest, you know, they know what they want, they can give you the good advice and everything on that. However, if you feel that the trading is becoming one-sided, like for example, if they're checking out the prices of cards and not giving you the prices of your cards to make up the value, I'd be very, very wary of that, in honest truth. I've never had it happen to me, but I've heard about that sort of thing happening. And again, as I said, if any slight element of doubt, you just cancel the trade immediately. Just trying to think now of anything else I can possibly give. I think the only other bits of advice I can give you is, if you do go to like really big events and you do take your trade folder with you, always make sure you've got it stored in a really, really safe place, and don't like flash about any rare card or anything, because obviously you are asking for trouble if somebody really wants a certain rare card or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, it's your trading. You can do whatever you wish and everything, but just be honest. You know, be confident. You know, if there's any slight element of doubt, you know, cancel if you feel like it, and just trade nicely and play safely, really, in all honesty. So yeah, I think that's all I can do for the moment about this topic. I hope you found this helpful. As I said, this is just from my experience that I've had and everything, so I hope this knowledge passes on. and I hope you guys, you know, take it to heart or whatever. Anyway, anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!